Imagine a world where every economic decision you make has been predicted by perfect mathematical models, where markets are always efficient and human beings, like rational robots, consistently choose the option that maximizes their benefit. It sounds like science fiction, doesn't it? That's because it is. For decades, traditional economics relied on this rational economic man, a being that never existed. Today, we are embarking on an extraordinary journey to discover the revolution that tore down this myth. A revolution that returns our humanity, with all our biases, our emotions, and our irrationalities, to the center of economics. Welcome to behavioral economics. Our story begins not on a trading floor, but in the human mind. For a long time, classical economics operated under the powerful assumption of rationality. It was assumed that people had stable preferences, processed all available information logically, and always made decisions that maximized their utility. But a group of disruptive thinkers began to observe anomalies, behaviors that simply didn't fit the model. The spark that ignited this revolution was the work of two psychologists, Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman. They were not economists, and perhaps that's why they could see what economists could not. They developed prospect theory, revealing that our decisions under uncertainty are systematically biased. They discovered that we don't value gains and losses equally. We experience loss aversion. The pain of losing 100 euros is much more intense than the pleasure of gaining the same amount. This simple but profound insight shattered the idea of a cold, calculating rationality. And then enters the scene a young and curious economist, Richard Thaler. Thaler observed the world around him and saw puzzles everywhere. Why would someone refuse to sell a bottle of wine they bought for $10 for $200, but never be willing to buy another bottle at that price? Thaler called this the Endowment Effect. We value things more simply because they are ours. Thaler began collaborating with Kahneman, and together they built a bridge between psychology and economics. Thaler became the architect of behavioral economics, documenting these anomalies that were, in reality, the norm. The ultimate recognition came. Kahneman won the Nobel Prize in economics in 2002, and Thaler did so in 2017. The revolution had been consecrated. Now, let's delve into the pillars of this new science of decision-making. Thaler identified three fundamental human traits that traditional economics ignored. The first is mental accounting. We don't treat our money as a homogeneous whole. Instead, we create separate mental compartments. Money for the house, for vacations, for daily expenses. This explains why we might splurge found money like a bonus, but be extremely stingy with our regular salary. Or why paying with a credit card hurts less than paying with cash. It's a disorganized way to manage our finances, but profoundly human. The second trait is our perception of fairness. Classical economics suggests that prices should rise with demand, but Thaler observed that fairness matters. On a rainy day, the demand for umbrellas soars, and a vendor could raise prices. But if they do so excessively, consumers will see it as unfair, an abuse, and may boycott them. Companies do not operate in a social vacuum. Equity is a powerful economic driver. The third pillar, and perhaps the most relevant to our lives, is our self-control problem. We all know it. We plan to save for retirement or eat healthier, but we succumb to the temptation of immediate spending or unhealthy food. We prefer instant gratification, even at the cost of our long-term goals. It's the battle between our planning self and our doing self. And from this last problem, one of the most powerful and, as we will see, controversial tools of behavioral economics was born: the nudge. Thaler, together with Cass Sunstein, defined a nudge as any aspect of the choice architecture that alters people as behavior in a predictable way, without forbidding any options or significantly changing their economic incentives. It is libertarian paternalism. It guides you towards a better decision for your own welfare, but always preserving your freedom of choice. Examples of nudges are everywhere, and they are brilliantly simple. Have you seen that small fly etched into the base of public urinals? It's a nudge that reduces spillage by 80% by providing a precise target. When the fruit is at eye level in a cafeteria, it's a nudge to choose a healthier option. When your company automatically enrolls you in a pension plan, but gives you the option to opt out, that's Thaler's Save More Tomorrow program, a nudge that has increased retirement savings for millions of people. Vaccination reminder SMSages, or presenting the option to be an organ donor as the default accept, are all nudges. Small pushes that help us be the best version of ourselves. The impact of these nudges has transcended academia to transform governments and public policies. In 2010, the UK created the first governmental nudge unit. Under the Obama administration, the United States established the Social and Behavioral Sciences team. These units apply behavioral economics to improve the effectiveness of policies, from increasing tax payment to encouraging energy savings or improving educational outcomes. The science of behavior has become a fundamental tool for designing evidence-based public policies. But this is where we introduce our debate element, a controversy I want you to discuss in the comments. Where do we draw the line between a helpful nudge and inadmissible manipulation? Critics argue that nudges, by acting on our subconscious, can violate individual autonomy and dignity. Who decides what is best for us? The government? Big corporations? Isn't it dangerous that the same biases that make us irrational are used to influence us without our explicit consent? This is the great ethical dilemma of libertarian paternalism. On one hand, we have the opportunity to save lives, improve financial health, and protect the environment. On the other, we risk creating an architecture of deception where our choices are not truly our own. Are we building a world that gently guides us towards wisdom, or one that silently manipulates us? The answer is not simple. To conclude this journey, let's look to the future. Behavioral economics is not a passing fad. It is a fundamental paradigm shift in how we understand human activity. It has infused economics with realism, reminding us that behind every chart, every transaction, and every market, there are fallible, emotional, and above all, fascinating human beings. Its legacy endures in every pension plan we are automatically enrolled in every healthy food we choose, because it was in sight, and in every public policy designed with a deeper understanding of how we live, think, and decide. And now, it's your turn. This journey doesn't end here. The conversation continues with you. Do you think nudges are an ethical tool to improve society? Or are they a subtle form of manipulation that should be regulated? Leave me your opinion in the comments. I want to read your arguments. If this video opened your mind, don't forget to give it a like. It helps the channel enormously. Subscribe so you don't miss our next explorations into the psychology and economics that shape our world. And share this video with someone you want to debate these ideas with. Until next time.